Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. My name is Gail Snyder. I'm the Executive Director for Dementia Friendly Fort Worth, and we are proud to offer this program with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and United Way of Tarrant County. These are recorded programs and are made available for future play through a YouTube channel. And we are excited today to have Peggy Spear with us from Artful Moments at the Amon Carter Museum of American Art. And she's going to share with us art from recycled materials today. Peggy?
Hi, Gail. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone.
All yours.
I'm a new face. I joined one a couple weeks ago, but I'm a new face probably to most. So I was on maternity leave, but now I'm back, and this is Nancy and Aaron were helping fill in for me while I was gone. So it sounds like y'all had some good conversations and fun viewing of different artworks in our collection. Some artworks that even if you came here wouldn't even be on the wall. So I'm glad you guys got to see different parts of our collection that way. So I'm going to jump in. Nancy and I will kind of be finishing out. We'll be going alternating back and forth. So you won't see me next week, but you'll see me the following. But yeah, let's get to it. So this week, I thought we could focus on some artwork that is in our collection that's made of recycled materials. And so I don't know about you guys, but this quarantine business has me drumming up projects around the house using some things that, new ways. So I thought maybe some of you might be doing that type of thing too, repurposing things in your house or giving new life to things you once kind of thought you might not be using anymore. So we're going to be looking at artwork in that same vein. So let me jump on over, and there we go. Can everyone see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, so the first artwork we're going to view is called Lunar Landscape, and it's by an artist, Louise Nevelson. Has anyone heard of this artist before? Okay, so she is from Ukraine. Here, first, so this is her artwork, but I'm giving you some perspective of how large it is in the gallery.
Oh.
So here's, I look sad, but I'm actually smiling under that mask. But here's how big it is. It's larger than life. She calls these artworks monumental arrangements, this style of artwork. So Louise Nevelson was originally from Ukraine and migrated over to the United States with her family in the early or mid 1900s. And so she was very interested in art and moved to New York when I think they moved into Maine, and then when she was able to, she moved down to New York to pursue her art career. So right out of the gate, she did sculptures and eventually worked her way up to this style of sculpture. So looking closely at it, what are some things that you see in this structure?
Smaller pieces.
Say that again, Nancy?
Smaller pieces.
So yeah, it's a lot of different pieces. You're right. Do you see anything in particular that looks familiar to you or not familiar to you?
Is that a bench? Is that a small bench sitting in the middle at the bottom?
Right here?
Yeah.
It's a part of a crate, but it looks like it could be part of a bench. But I like where you're heading. Are you Joe or Patsy?
Joe.
Hi, Joe. Joe, I love the direction you're heading. So you see a bench, but do you see something else that you'd sit on? Look over, I'm dragging the mouse around the quadrant.
Oh, is that like a box maybe or something? I don't know.
Inside the box, you guys are all looking at the right area. Inside the box is the seat of a Windsor chair. So do you see?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you see that seat now?
Yeah.
And you can see the missing holes where the spindles on the back might have been.
How interesting, yeah.
Another thing you might recognize right here, this is part of a stool. Another thing you might sit on. And then up here, this is one of my favorite pieces. Do you see this tall pin, slender pin? It's a juggling pin.
It's a what? I'm sorry.
Wine bottle.
It looks like a wine bottle, but it's wood. It's a juggling pin.
Juggling pin. Okay.
And
You
then
gotta juggle those glasses of wine. Come on.
I know. It would be nice if it were a big old bottle of wine. And then if you look over here, I'm dragging the mouse around one other thing you might recognize. Can you see? You might have to
There's a butter
zoom
churn.
in.
It's a
Say it
butter
again.
churn.
Oh,
What did you say, Steve? I'm sorry.
A butter churn.
A butter churn. Oh, you know what? I can see what you're saying. It's actually a bedpost, but it does look like a lot like the handle of a butter churn.
Well, because if you look at the bottom, it's
Yeah.
like a cutout of the butter.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. But if you look, sorry, gang. If you look closely, you can see I'm dragging the mouse over the length of the bed frame. So you can see some of that wood detailing down at the bottom where the mattress, the slats would go, and then that pine cone at the top. So we pointed out there was a crate. We've got some random pieces of wood. What Louise Nevelson would do is she would walk around Manhattan and collect pieces of recycled, just scavenged junk trash from the side of the road. So she made a living. So you can see, in real gallery space what that looks like and how big it is. But then you can see it behind her. This is what Louise looked like. She was a very, kind of bohemian, eccentric type of personality. And she would just walk around New York and collecting all sorts of trash. So what she would do is she made a name for herself, creating these, she called them assemblages, and these are the one here is a monumental assemblage. And she would find these pieces all over town, and then she would create these sculptures that were mounted to the wall, and she would paint them completely black, for a while completely black or completely white, so decontextualizing any sort of way you would be, that juggling pin might have had a red stripe around it, or that bed frame might have been wood, like a dark wood. And now it's painted in a way where you almost might not even recognize it because of the coloring. And so she would paint it either black, spray painted either black or white. And then later she started spraying things gold. So
that picture you had up there actually has more detail on it than the one that you had before.
I think you're right. Yeah, this
so you can
one.
See, right. You can't see as much detail on that one as you can on the one where you're standing next to it.
mm-hmm.
You're right. And you know who we can thank for that? Our lighting team down in installation. They did.
I thought you were going to say you.
Oh, yes, no. I really bring a new dimension to it, don't I? No, but you can. Oh, go ahead.
What this kind of reminds me of is that old saying, one person's trash is another person's treasure.
You are absolutely right.
So there you go.
I mean, and now I feel like after this artwork too, maybe when you guys are out on walks in your neighborhood or, in a city downtown, it like brings a new light to some of those things you see on the side of the road.
Oh, for sure.
And it's one creative way to keep the roads clean.
Absolutely.
Oh,
so right.
Love it.
Maybe in a pre-COVID time, we would bring these things back into our house, huh? Now we have to spray it with Lysol and leave it outside for 24 hours, right?
Yep.
At the very least.
But so you can see Louise was making artwork in New York, and she gained a lot of fame while she was actually alive, which was really cool for a female artist who was creating at this time. She was creating during the same time as other abstract expressionists. And so one that you guys might know, and it's kind of an art history staple, is Robert Rauschenberg, this artwork on the left right here. This is called Bed, and this artist was known for, they're called found objects when you're repurposing pieces that you're finding in your everyday world. So this artist, can you guys tell what he's using on the bottom?
A quilt.
A quilt, you're exactly right. And so he incorporated this quilt, and then do you see what's up here?
Yeah.
A pillow. Yeah, it blends in, but that's a real pillow. And he's actually using a sheet too. So he's painting, it's essentially a bed inside a frame. So this was kind of the trend of the time the avant-garde artists were creating artwork out of already existing pieces. And then you can see, and this is like the original old school, what started this whole trend. Down at the bottom, this urinal. Have any of you seen this artwork before? It's called, this artist, his name is Marcel Duchamp. He was actually, Janine, what did you say?
John said, no, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is, it's called a ready-made is what the artist Marcel Duchamp coined the phrase. And he literally just took a urinal and then signed it with not even his own name down on the bottom and made that artwork, and everyone went gaga for it. So that was in the early 1900s, and that set the stage then for artists who were taking already existing things but then repurposing them in different ways. And so Louise Nevelson was one of the only women, and she was the only woman who really gained this type of notoriety at the time, that was creating these monumental assemblages that were all from these recycled materials. Any thoughts about this one? Do you guys have anything in your house that you think would be cool in this type of assemblage?
So do you know any artists that's still using old quilts? I have some to donate.
No, there's funny you say that. There was an American Indian artist up in Denver for a while who was collecting people's old quilts, and you had to write on the sides of a luggage tag your story tied what that quilt meant to you. And so the Denver Art Museum collected, I think it was something like 800 different quilts for this artist, and he made a totem pole out of them. So somewhere someone is using quilts, just not that I know of right now.
My aunt was a quilter, and she taught me about how you quilted. And the smaller the stitches, the better the quilt.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, because and you couldn't just take the needle and run it lengthwise. You had to do it up and then down and up and down and up, because that way you got smaller stitches.
Okay. Man, I bet that was time consuming.
Oh, I still have her quilts. They're so beautiful.
Oh,
I can't part with them. they're part of my family. They're part of me.
Oh, I bet. How wonderful. What a sweet tradition.
She was good. She was good.
I started quilting a number of years ago, but I quit because I can't stand the sound of the sewing machine.
Oh.
So I said, when I retire, I'm going to learn to hand quilt. And I was thinking about it yesterday. I'm not really retired, but I'm not working. So I think I'm going to start seeing if I can learn to hand quilt.
Oh, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Come on.
Oh, there we go. I like that encouragement. And what better time than now, you know?
Right.
Maybe you guys have some scrap fabric or old clothing that means something to you. That would be a way to recycle materials.
Another thing.
My sister-in-law is a master quilter, and she basically just uses the sewing machine to put on the backing.
Mm-hmm.
She does everything else by hand.
Oh.
Okay, and she's done wall hangings and quilts for us, different things, biblical stories and family stories and things like that. But very, very elaborate. Her granddaughter actually won a blue ribbon at the 4-H last year because of her quilting.
Oh, how wonderful that she's passing that on.
Yeah.
My aunt always thought that if you quilted with a machine, it didn't count. You could only quilt by hand.
Yeah. I know some people who still believe that when I was in the Quilters Guild.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there are. Yeah.
Another thing of recycled stuff that I have thought many times about turning into art, and I haven't actually done it, but I kept the materials so that I could. I am a gamer, so when I get a new game and punch out the pieces, the cardboard that is left has really pretty designs on it because it's, things. So I want to find a way to make collage art out of the different punch boards from the games.
Good, cool idea.
That is a cool idea. And my mind thought you were going to say stenciling. I mean, using those.
I have used them for stencils. Yes.
Oh, how cool.
Yes. For journaling and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Oh, very neat. I love that. What a creative way to repurpose that.
Yeah,
So
I'm all for
my
that.
mother-in-law used to be a professional drapery maker,
Oh,
and she used the scraps from the draperies to make quilts. And so
Cool.
upholstery and drapery fabric is a lot thicker than other fabrics, and these quilts are so heavy because of the fabrics that were used that you really have to use them when it's cold because they're so thick and heavy. They're too hot for summertime.
Oh, how neat. Well, it sounds like all of these beautiful quilts. I'm not sure you'd want to lend them to old Robert Rauschenberg because then he would destroy it with all his paint. And all of these quilts seem to have such beautiful meanings to all of you.
Well, I have some that are worn out, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with them.
You know what, though, actually, Gail, a woman I work with brought her quilts to the SPCA.
Yeah.
So I think that might be something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can donate them to kennels or rescue centers for the dogs and stuff. They're always looking for old quilts and old blankets and old sheets and stuff and towels.
All right.
And I think
Sounds
there
like
are some quilters groups that actually will do restorations.
I think some of these are past that.
The point of no return.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to one more artwork in the same vein. So this one is called the New England Landscape 2. New England Landscape 1 is actually in the Detroit Institute of Art, and it's about the same size. So again, you're seeing the numbers of it's 48 inches by 119, which means nothing when you're just seeing it on a screen. So here, for context, here I am in front of it. It's giant. But do you guys have any guesses? This is a better view. Do you guys have any guesses what this is made out of?
Looks like it's like that.
It says wood, so what does that mean?
Pallets.
Pallets. Okay, that's a guess. Wood, yeah, wood. It's pretty generic. So, do any guesses on where this wood is coming from? So we heard pallets. Any other guesses?
Old barn.
Scraps from some kind of furniture factory, maybe.
Okay, scraps from furniture factory. I heard someone say barn. Well, they're all found from the ocean. He was a driftwood collector.
Wow.
Oh,
I almost said driftwood, but it doesn't look like driftwood.
well, Janine, your gut was right. It is driftwood, and he has just positioned them in a way where it doesn't look like driftwood. You're right. And it's one of those things that if you were to get up very close to it, you would see some of the rounded edges and things like that more noticeably. But yeah, just it's reading kind of flat right now. But this is, wrong direction. This is hundreds of different pieces of driftwood. So I'm going to click this link and we're going to hear one of our registrars. A registrar is someone who does condition reports of the artwork. So he makes sure how it's packaged when it travels, that everything is still kept in good condition. If something, an artwork gets a scratch on it, that person records it so we know that it's there. So we're going to hear her talk for just a quick minute about this artwork. All right.
As the head of registration and collections here at the Carter, I track art movement, whether it's inside the building or whether it's going out on loan. One thing we do when objects are physically moved is that we do a condition report. A condition report's a record that helps us keep details of the condition of an artwork over time. We use photographs, we use illustrations, and it helps us keep track of the physical condition. The Morrison, as you can see, is made of an unusual material. It's collected pieces of driftwood. So it has a lot of areas of old paint that can be somewhat fragile. There are even tiny little pebbles wedged into some of the crevices in the wood. All of those details we keep track of. Due to the size and nature of the piece, we've taken a lot of photos of each section so that we can track these changes. Most of the time, a condition report is a one-page document. This work has an entire binder. I also act as a courier, so when this went out on loan a few years ago, I traveled with it and examined when it was taken out of its crate and installed at a museum in New York. Being up close and personal with each object in our collection is one of my favorite parts of this job.
So you can see, or you, as you heard, I'll wait for the music to stop. As you heard, there's a lot that goes into tracking a piece with this many pieces, little tiny pieces, and you can kind of see areas here, all the little, I keep clicking, sorry guys, all the little nooks and crannies that George Morrison put things in. So have any of you collected driftwood or sea glass or anything like that? No.
I have. Well, I don't remember where the driftwood came from, but I had a few pieces of driftwood and a whole bunch of rocks and shells. And in our previous house, we had a fake fireplace that had a rounded top on it. And I made a art area with all this rocks and shells and driftwood and stuff on the top of that.
Oh, how neat.
It was really.
You've been in my house.
Is that what you've done? Did you do something similar, Paulette?
Oh, no, I just, we go someplace, I bring home a rock, I bring home a piece of driftwood or something to remember the vacation we had with the kids. And then over time I look at it and I say, now, where'd that come from?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've done that so much.
Do you have like a little jar, or not little probably anymore if you've gone on a lot of trips, or like a big bucket or vase or something you put them in and it all kind of just mingles together?
I've got a bunch of bookshelves that I put it on so that they kind of help the books along.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, and have a little display space for all of your findings.
Yeah, and people come in and say, "Oh, what's that?" And most of the time I can remember, but I'm getting to the age now where I'm remembering less and less. But we won't go there.
Oh, what a nice little reminder! Even when you're just walking by in the morning, you're like, "Oh, I remember."
Oh yeah, especially the stuff that you found when you were on vacation with your kids and all that. Oh yeah, and the grandkids and yeah. Oh yeah,
special.
A lot of good memories with those things.
Paulette, you need to take a picture of each one and do a card so you have a memory card of them.
Oh, that's an idea.
Yeah.
Or write on the back of it. Do an actual printout if you want to, and then write on the back of it. You have a kind of a folder of what each one, the memory of each one.
Oh, I'm sure grandkids would like to look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I'll see what I can do about that.
I know if you're running out of projects to do around the house, that's a good one to pick up.
Oh, I love to write. I do all kinds of stuff. I write.
How wonderful.
I've written a bunch of kids' stories and all that. Nothing's published, but
I was going to say, well, where can we find these? But in the privacy of your own desk at home.
Well, someday schedule me. I'll tell a story.
Yeah, you should be leading one of these next time. Tell us a tale.
No. I am part of Dallas Storytellers Guild, though, and I love it.
Oh, how interesting. Very cool.
Oh, it's a great organization. Love it, love it, love it.
How neat. So George Morrison was, the driftwood you're seeing is from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, but he was actually from Minnesota. He was a Chippewa or Ojibwe, whichever one you use is correct, and the American Indian tribe. And he went to art school in Minnesota, and then after he graduated from, it was MCAD, turned into MCAD, he went to New York City, just like our good old friend Louise Nevelson, and went to school there at the Arts League in New York, and then ended up getting a job at Rhode Island Institute School of Design, RISD. Have you guys ever heard of RISD? So it's a premiere. Oh, go ahead, Joe. Did you say something, Joe?
Oh, no, sorry, no.
Oh, no, that's okay. Just my little green square lit you up, so I didn't know.
Okay.
So that's why he was on the East Coast, is he was tenured at that university teaching art classes, and then during the summers he would summer in Massachusetts on Cape Cod. So he collected driftwood as an adult, but he also really enjoyed this when he was a child, and that was something that kind of got away from him. He would collect driftwood at Lake Superior in Minnesota. Then that kind of went away as he was getting older, and then he went back to it later in life. And off and on, he has these 2 monumental ones and other versions, sizes that are smaller, collecting the same type of thing. And this is what George looks like, and you can see in the picture on the right all of the different scraps of wood he'd find. And he would wait for it to kind of speak to him about where things needed to go.
Oh, to do all that.
But he was making artwork around the same time that Louise Nevelson was, and he was considered an abstract expressionist artist, just like Louise was. But he didn't keep his notoriety the way that Louise Nevelson did. So he was famous while he was making, and then by the 1960s, he kind of fell off people's radar. He was still making art, but he wasn't showing art the way that he had once done earlier in his career. And a lot of he was American Indian, and a lot of criticism he received from the American Indian world was that his artwork wasn't Indian enough. So, but he was very popular in the avant-garde realm of art. And he said he wanted to make his art relevant to the world around him. And so that was what was relevant in the art world at the time, these oversized assemblages. So that's what he was doing. Any observations or comments about this particular artwork?
I just love that piece.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's really a
I
lot
love all
of
the shapes, the little, that one, and it's just beautiful. I love it.
It's in person. I hope you can. Our museum is open, so if ever you just want a day to stroll through, you're always welcome to come. But in seeing it in person, these pictures, as you all know, never do justice to the actual artwork. So
that's true. That's true. I used to work for the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston.
Oh, very cool. So
Yeah, I loved it. Oh, they had such neat, cool stuff. Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, this is one of those artworks, for me at least, when I stand in front of it, I always notice something new.
Yeah.
It never hits me the same every time. Every time it's a new experience for me. So in the same vein of Luis and George, I invite you to make your own type of assemblage at home. And so this is an example of something that I made. I made a wind chime, and I collected, you can see the different sticks. My husband and I, years ago, went to Hawaii for our honeymoon, and I collected little drift sticks off of the beach. And when I got home, I drilled a hole down the center of them, and then we had some extra rope at home, and I had this cowbell that I had gotten at an estate sale, and I just made my own little thing. So if you guys are interested in a new project to beautify your backyard, which I'm sure a lot of you are spending time outside as well, I invite you to collect maybe some sticks or different interesting pieces from your backyard. And this is a partner thing. Someone can help you drill, or if it already has holes, you can just run your rope or twine or whatever you have, fishing line at home. And then maybe you have a bell from an old pet or an old Christmas bell that you're looking what to do with. I don't know, but you can create your own little wind chime for your backyard.
Oh, what a cool idea.
That's very cool.
It's kind of relaxing too when you're doing it. Sort of like the threading you guys were talking about, sewing and things like that. It's one of those, you get into a groove. So Has anyone else created any sort of projects this quarantine from things at home or things they had in the house? And we had talked about scraps of material or gaming pieces or anything else you guys are repurposing?
I don't do art. I'm a tinkerer. I'm always fixing things.
Hey, that's a good person to have around. What have you been fixing?
Well, I tried to do a pressure washer. I just after about 4 different things, I just gave up. So I just stopped it. But I do a lot of mechanical items, electrical, just things like that. I just pick up and work on. Not as much anymore as I used to. Before my dementia really set in, I just walk the streets and pick up things, and the pressure washer, I would have probably I pulled the motor off and the pump and everything else and redone it something else, but I just don't have the energy.
Yeah.
These days.
That is an undertaking.
Yeah.
But a good talent to have nonetheless.
Yeah.
I have something much.
Something again. I haven't painted a painting in a long time. I need to do a new painting.
Are you feeling inspired? Is there something on your mind that you've been wanting to paint, just haven't sat down to do it?
Well, not so much something in mind, but just the fact that I'm getting to the age and stage in my life where I better do it while I still can, and do like one last painting or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Are your paintings large scale, small scale, on canvas, on paper? What do you typically prefer to paint?
Oil on canvas. I've got one hanging on the wall. You want to see it?
Sure.
Okay, hang on. I'll be right back.
I've been missing, I don't know about you guys, but I've been missing going to estate sales since all of this has been going on. I love going to estate sales and finding things for the house, breathing new life into old furniture or lamps or a lot of different like table serviceware, things like that. Do any of you guys go to estate sales or garage sales? Joe, do you have any cool finds?
Yeah, I have a, maybe I can turn my computer around. Hold on just a minute. I have a, what they call a pie chest, a pie safe.
Oh yeah, pie safe, cool.
I got a really good deal on it. No, hold on just a minute. Let me see if I can get it to show up here.
We've lost Joe to the pie safe.
Yeah.
I don't know how to show it to you, but I got it.
Here's the camera over here.
Oh. There?
Paula, your video's off.
She's got hers. She can't see. That's on the screen.
That seems like it's kind of.
I don't know how to get it on.
Oh, there we go, Joe.
You're going to start your video.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good find.
Yeah, I got a very good deal on it. It was two shades of blue, which does not fit in with my house, so I painted it the same color.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, giving it a new look.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think it didn't sell because of the color. People can want two-tone blue. That was the color of the house I got.
Yeah, well, you would never know. It looks like it's been there. It's meant to be there.
But it's solid, thick wood. It's really very good, except if you want to try to move it, and then it's really heavy.
Well, yeah. Then you need to call the big, strong boys to come over and strength to move it around. And wow, look at that painting. You did that yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, how beautiful. Is that a particular place that you visited or something you thought of in your mind?
Yeah, we were out in California, and I took a photograph of it because I thought it was pretty, and then I came home and painted it.
How beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's a cheery scene.
Oh,
John said cool.
Oh. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I couldn't afford to buy the art, so I painted my own stuff, and it's hanging all over the house.
Hey, that's the best art, I think. But it sounds like we've got a really creative bunch. So if you guys are feeling creative and need a new project, sometimes that's the problem. You're not sure what your next project is and someone just needs to push you in the right direction. So if you're feeling creative and want some fresh air, I invite you all to make your own little wind chime, okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Good idea.
All right, gang. Well, it's my time, but it was really nice chatting with all of you today. Any final thoughts? Closing?
Yeah, you did a great job.
Well,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
thank you all. And next time
Thank
you see me will be in a couple of weeks, and we're going to talk about summer, because in my mind, it's the end of summer when Memorial Day weekend comes, even though the thermometer tells us otherwise. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Sounds
you.
Thank you, Peggy.
We'll see you soon.
It's
Thanks.
great to have you with us.
Oh, thanks, Gail. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, gang.
Bye.
Are you gathering for coffee today?
For the Fifth Street, yes. All right, so first off, tomorrow is Cookie Conversations. And yesterday we discussed it and came up with, we will be making peanut butter cookies tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Good.
Everybody like peanut butter cookies?
Oh, my
Yes,
husband.
I do.
All right. Well, sounds like a good choice then. So I hope all of you will be able to join us tomorrow at 10:30. And right now I'm going to put in the chat box the link if you want to join us over at the Fifth Street Cafe. It's a different link than this one. And if I'm not mistaken, Paulette is going to be showing us some of her photography today.
I am?
Yes.
We can go get it.
I have no idea how to do this. Is a big surprise. Okay. How do I do this?
All you have to do is bring it and hold it up like you did with your painting.
Yeah, but where? I mean, what do I log on?
To the left.
I just shared the link in the chat box.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll help you with it, honey.
Okay.
Okay?
What
So
time?
just, as soon as you get off here, jump on over there. And
Okay.
I'll see you all over there.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
So glad you told me.
All right.
Photography and all.
Y'all have a great rest of the day. And
All right,
I hope
thank
to
you.
see some of
Bye.
you over in the other room.
Chat line's closed.
Patrick, we're glad you were here
Thanks
today,
for
even though we
recording.
couldn't see you.
I'm here.
All right. Well, feel free to join us over in the other room.
Let me
Okay.
get on the chat line.
All right.